Salomon Sredni, how happy I am to see you right now accepting this call. And let me tell you guys how I met Salo. Even though we are part of YPO Miami, I really met Salo in Harvard. And I met Salo in a very particular way. I don't know if you remember Salo, but at the beginning of this program, there is a fantastic activity that also an idea from another YPOer. That is a moment at the beginning of the where we share not just needs, leads, but also gratitude from other friends that in some way help us in I don't know, in our projects. And it's very crazy. And I think, Salo, one of the most beautiful things that you have is that by far every single person or the big vote in this moment is always Salomon Sredni. So you have been the person that have been helping more friends, more YPOers in Harvard so far.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. But, it shows that if you pay people enough, they vote for you. Just kidding. But listen, you measure a life, but not by what you get, by what you give. And obviously, if you can share that with your friends, and it's great to get recognized. So it's very moving when I was recognized as the person with the most thanks. But the reality is, I encourage everybody to give back, because that's how you gain a light. As a matter of fact, I was just listening to the mayor of Miami, and they asked him, why would he run for office? Why would he really takes sacrifice from a great career in being a mayor? And what he said was that you can be rich by how much money you have in your bank, but you can also be rich by giving back, and that he serves in order to give back. That's how his bucket gets filled.
Amazing. But in this way, I met Salo, and he, when I present my idea, he was one of the person that sent me a note that I can help you. And as soon as I get back to Miami, I really get in contact with Salo, and it's amazing, Salo, how much you help me through the ideas to make me think and to be part of this Project Freedom. So I'm so grateful that you have been part of this project and also in my life as a friend. So thank you again, brother. And again,
to help.
It's an amazing work that you have done so far. Also, I know that you help a lot of people in Endeavor. There's another organization where you also help entrepreneurs. But as I told you before of this call, the idea, Salo, and you are that of these videos is to in some way give a different perspective to the people. So far, every single person is so negative, thinking about how many people are dying, my business is gonna die. And I believe if we saw this situation in another way, like it's a moment where everything is in pause and you can rethink your life, you can rethink your business. And what I need or what I want is to really push people to be positive, to be inspired. And what a better way that bring my network to them, showing how you guys made it. So the idea, Salo, right now is that you in some way tell us your story, how you start, where you have born, the first school, the first problem, the first mentor. And then I'm gonna give you some questions because also I'm trying to do kind of a statistic of the basic things that every single entrepreneur in this world in some way is doing. So thank you again, Salo. I love you, and tell us your story.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's great to be here. So I was born in Colombia. I was born in Cali, Colombia, and I came to the States when I was 14 years old. I finished high school here in Miami Beach, and then I ended up going to Penn State and studying accounting. The reality is I had no clue what I wanted to study. So for some of our young friends, there's so much pressure for them to know what they should major in and what they should do and lay out the rest of their life. When in reality, when you're 16, 17, 18 years old, you have no idea what you want to do in life. So it's pretty unfair to do that. So anyway, I finished here. I went to Penn State. I had no idea what I wanted to study, and I got an A in accounting, and it was pretty easy. So I figured that accounting was really my gift, because if I could get an A without studying, I was in pretty pretty good shape. I did that. I was going to go to law school because I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I ended up seeing a friend that was all dressed up, found out she was interviewing with big accounting firms. She dared me to interview with the accounting firms. I ended up working for what was back then the largest accounting firm in the world, a firm by the name of Arthur Andersen. And it was a great decision. It was a great decision because my partners today, 30 years later in my VC firm, are all guys I worked with at Andersen 30 years ago. So it
Wow.
shows you never ever burn a bridge. So I worked at Andersen for 8.5 years. Had some great mentors, had some great education, learned quite a bit. Most people think that you graduate college and you're done learning, when in reality it's just the beginning. That's when you really start the real learning in life, and the growth mindset. Carol Dweck out of Stanford wrote a great book uh, called The Growth Mindset. So that's one great book recommendation for everybody that's looking to read something great. So I ended up leaving Andersen, went to work for what was the world's largest generic pharmaceutical company back then, and then I found this small company in Westchester, in Western Miami, that was great, that helped you analyze the markets, and with great founders and great people. And then we took it public, grew it to be the 7th largest broker in the U.S., about the same size as E-Trade in terms of trades. And it was a great journey. In 2011, I sold it to Japan's 2nd largest broker. And in 2016, I left that firm. And I was going to do nothing for a year, but I ended up partnering, like I mentioned, with the guys that I'm currently partnered with. And what we're doing is finding great startups with great teams that we can help, and helping them grow and helping them achieve great things.
Got it. And so when you were a kid, you were not clear about the future. So you were totally so I think maybe in my case, since my father owned a factory, fashion, whatever, I was kind of, okay, I need to keep the business of my father. But you never saw it in this way. You were kind of more open.
Yeah. So my father and grandfather had a business in Colombia. Sorry, I'm charging this before it dies. It's about to die. Super professional.
These are effects. These are visual effects. As you can understand, the value of
Salomon. We keep it real. We keep it real.
Exactly.
We keep it real. Anyway, my grandfather had a business. They had a retail jeans business. But when we came here, the situation in Colombia kept getting worse and worse, and over time, it became pretty clear that wasn't part of my future. I did have some businesses while I was in college, and I was always entrepreneurial, but I wasn't clear when I was going to graduate college exactly what I was going to do.
And what were these entrepreneurial business in college?
So I had a business selling magazines. I had a business that took kids down to in spring break. So I always did stuff, and I think one of the things you talked about success. One of the things I noticed about success is starting early. Everybody I know that's been successful had a job, started early, and was not afraid to work early. So that's one of the common traits that I looked at as I was raising my kids, about what is amazing. How do you raise great people? And it's clear that one of those things is by really helping them understand the value of dollar early on.
Yes, and also the other fact that you mentioned, that understand that we need to keep learning is kind of a must. The only way to move forward is to always learn and always improve. It's another big
100%. You and I met at Harvard, and we're sharpening our saw, but it's clear that it's important to continue to grow and continue to expand your knowledge base.
It's clear. Okay, Salo, tell me some basic. Here are some basic questions. For example, how old are you right now?
I'm 53.
Okay.
almost.
And when was the first time you make money? Do you remember the age?
I think I started, basically doing odd stuff, selling sodas or something on the beach, that kind of stuff at age probably 14, 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first entrepreneurial business that you had, the magazine one that you said? Or do you have a
Um,
specific one that you consider more
yeah, I
important?
mean, no, I think in college when I started creating packages for kids to come to Florida for spring break, that was I worked into what was Eastern Airlines back then and asked to rent a 747 with no flight attendants and an open bar. That certainly made a statement to the people at Eastern. They laughed and threw me out pretty quickly. So
The
don't
idea was
worry.
amazing.
Yeah, the idea, but it doesn't work. Yes. They share with me that flight attendants are there for security, not to serve drinks. I said I didn't need them to serve drinks. I just have an
You
open
learned
bar.
something at this age.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay, the biggest failure in your life, Salo.
Um, Biggest failures is when we were at trade station, we ended up going into foreign exchange space where regulators didn't, that's not a space they favored, and they ended up closing. When I entered that space, there was something around 30 players in the US. By the time I exited, there was less than five. And I learned that when the government doesn't want you to do something, they're not in favor of doing something, it's not going to happen.
Got it. And the biggest
Yeah.
success?
Biggest successes, I think, selling TradeStation to Japan's second largest broker and really growing that to be 600 employees strong and to be, we had the highest net promoter score of all the brokerage firms. So you take Schwab, you take E-Trade, you take Ameritrade, we had the highest net promoter score.
Wow.
Yeah.
Salo, what is happiness for you?
What is what?
Happiness for you. Happiness.
Oh, happiness for me is really the ability to give my gift to the world every day. And I do three things very well. I achieve, I inspire, and I connect. So if I can do a little bit of those three things every day, to me that's happiness.
Amazing. And so far you do really well. Let me tell you, at least in my case,
Thank you.
it's fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, Salo, another question. There is an amount of money that you want to stop working, or do you have kind of, okay, when I make the billion, I'm going to stop, or how much money do you need to stop, or you don't want to stop?
No, I don't think stop working is related to how much money you have in your bank account, because there's a lot more people that are much more wealthy than me. To me, I get a lot of joy out of working. So whether it's working for money or it's working to make an impact, I don't think I'll ever stop working. I think the day you stop working is the day you start dying, and I'm in no rush to start dying.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
So the best advice someone give you?
The best advice somebody gave me, I think the best advice was only worry about those things you can control. No sense in worrying about things you have no control over.
Nice one. Someone that is an inspiration for you, a legend?
A legend. My grandfather was very inspirational. My grandfather was a survivor of the Holocaust, lived in a concentration camp, and went from there to building a large empire in Colombia. So to me, he's a great source of inspiration.
For sure. How many days do you make exercise?
During COVID or before COVID?
Before.
Before COVID, 2 to 3 if I was lucky. After COVID, 5 to 6. So
okay,
that's a good thing about COVID.
Exactly.
Yeah. So hopefully it sticks after COVID.
Do you take care of the food? So you are healthy in terms of food, or do you eat healthy?
Yes, I try to. I love to eat, but I do try to eat healthy.
Yes, I saw the picture that in the last trip of you in Europe, and I don't think you were super focused on.
Yeah, no, I was super focused on eating great.
Exactly. So
yes,
at what time do you gotta sleep?
I try to be in bed by 10 to 11.
Perfect. And at what time?
And I try to sleep 8 hours a night. I try to sleep 8 hours. Sleep is so important. People underrate sleep, but to me, if I don't get a good night's sleep, it screws the rest of the day for me.
I agree. Me too. And at what time do you wake up normally?
6, 7 a.m.
Okay. Do you have any weekend routine or some simple?
Yeah, no, we've been going for long walks, like 8 to 10 mile walks on Saturday morning with my wife. Um, and um, normally I try to exercise at length on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings.
Got it. I know that you have many, but if you need to give an advice of just one book, what is the book that you recommend?
I'll follow up what I said earlier. I would recommend Carl Dweck's growth mindset because it's such an important thing right now.
Okay, and Salo, one advice that you give to people, this is the last question, in pandemic, what is the advice that you give to every single person?
Listen, what I'll say is that we're very lucky. If you were born in 1900, you'd have been drafted for World War I in 1914. You'd have the Spanish flu in 1918. You're going to have the depression, the Great Depression in 1928. In 1926, you're going to have World War II in 1939. We're pretty lucky. We're not. This is nothing, and this too shall pass. And it's times like this that create incredible opportunities. Every time you've had a crisis like this, great companies have been formed. So my question to everybody listening is, how will they take advantage of the situation to better themselves, to better their communities?
Love it, Salo. I totally agree with you. And in fact, what you mentioned, that is perspective. So not just see the problem, but see the whole. I totally agree. And this is part of the thing that we're trying to do in these videos, that give a different perspective, show different stories that we can, and as you said before, so it's an opportunity for people to rethink their life. And as you said also, there are going to be a lot of opportunities because this change move everything. So maybe it's a good opportunity for every single person. So Salo, I love you. Thank you very much again. Thank you for your time. And again, thank you for your help in my company. So I really appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you, my friend.
Take care, brother.
Stay healthy.
Love you.